Hello and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Cody Proctor. Each weekend, we walk you through the headlines from the past week in the Inland Northwest. Let's get started with one of the biggest news stories of the past few days.
Right now, the family of Dave and Geraldine Covey say the only thing they feel is relief after this most recent development in the over 3-year murder investigation.
The murders of Dave and Geraldine Covey, a mystery unresolved since 2022, now solved after the remains of investigators' main suspect, Dylan Harrington, were found in April of this year and positively identified earlier this month.
It's been a long 3.5 years, definitely.
Debbie Springer, the daughter of Dave Covey, recalls what happened leading up to her parents' disappearance.
I received a call that my dad's truck was found somewhere other than in front of their property in Cheesaw.
Springer says that was only the beginning of the end.
There was no sign of them there, and I knew something was really wrong then.
For the next few days after the initial call about Dave's abandoned truck, Springer's family and officials searched for the couple throughout their property. And while they weren't able to find the Coveys, they did find Dylan Harrington squatting in a nearby homestead near the Covey property.
And as they're walking around the homestead, Dylan came out and he instantly jumped underneath the old homestead and hid and wouldn't come out.
Springer says officials didn't focus on Harrington at that time because there was still no sign of Dave or Geraldine. On February 16th, 3 days into the search for the Coveys, their bodies were found burned behind a trailer with a wooden door on top of them.
And that was just blew our minds. You don't even know how to process that information.
After the discovery, police went back to question Harrington. However, he was nowhere to be found. It wasn't until the Spokane Police Department were called to do a welfare check downtown in April of this year when they got word of a body near the 500 block of East 3rd, which was later identified as Harrington.
We are relieved that he has been found and he can't hurt anybody else.
Did you ever think that they were going to find whoever did this to your dad and stepmom?
You know, at first I did. I was pretty hopeful. And then after it became over a year, 2 years, 3 years, I'm thinking, wow, it might be 20 years before anything's ever found on this.
Springer says it wasn't until later when she found out the reason why her parents even decided to go to the property in the first place.
I did find out that they were checking because their power usage showed some increase where there shouldn't have been any, and that's why they went up there to find out what was going on.
The Okanagan County Sheriff's Office posted on social media saying Harrington's DNA matched samples from the crime scene in Cheesaw.
It was just senseless. No reason for it at all.
Springer says she hopes Okanagan County doesn't shut this case because she believes there's still more to uncover when it comes to her family's murders. In Spokane, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
This is the first time we're sitting down one-on-one with Moscow's mayor and police chief since the sentencing of Brian Kohberger. They both told me the sentence to life in prison brought a sense of relief because now they say the Moscow community can begin to focus on healing. Mayor Bedke, can you take us back to the first day that you heard the news about the 4 murders? What was going through your mind at that moment as a leader and as well as a member of this tight-knit community in Moscow?
I get a text in from the city administrator who said there's been a murder in Moscow. It involves 4 students. And I'm thinking, oh boy, this is difficult. It's going to be a real problem. And what the heck happened to have 4 people go dead? So they did say murder, so there went my first thought, was it CO2 poisoning or something like that, a house burned down? But no, murder implies a whole different layer of problems. I felt a real responsibility to the community to try to work with the community to assure them that we still have the same community. It's just having a difficult time right now. We will get through this, we'll get past this, and we can start to put our psychological lives back together.
Now that Brian Kohberger has been sentenced, How are you professionally and personally processing this now that it's come to a close?
It's still a little surreal. I knew that this would someday come to a close of sorts, and this certainly occurred a little bit sooner than we expected. We were in the throngs of preparing for a trial. I personally, I thought it was a great idea. That was a wonderful conclusion to this, and that ultimately we had shown that we found the right person, that we held accountable the person who did this, and he admitted it in open court.
Now, the mayor and police chief both agree Moscow was not prepared for the global attention this case received, but now they are prepared. I just learned Chief Dollinger has received crisis communication training and is currently training up additional officers to assist when needed. Reporting in Moscow, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
As we go to break, here's a check of your weekend forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Each weekend, we walk you through headlines for the past week in the Inland Northwest.
Finding childcare can be a grueling part of the family planning process. Mayor Brown's proposal would remove costly permitting requirements to open up space and access for more childcare centers across Spokane. Dependable childcare is a vital part of a growing family and a growing city, especially in Spokane. But there are only so many spots available.
I almost felt alone. So the competitive nature, I was like, who else is going to get this spot that doesn't exist?
Working mother of two, Megan Only describes how stressful it was to get childcare for her two young girls.
It was honestly scary. I was 3 months pregnant and I was like, I got to start getting on wait lists because I know I want to get back to work. We can't financially afford not being in daycare, and finding one that would take my infant daughter, that's also a struggle. Sometimes they want older children because it's harder to find that infant care. So
one way to combat this issue is to open more centers, which is what Mayor Lisa Brown is trying to do. In a statement from Mayor Brown, she says this proposal would help those who want to open child care centers in all residential and commercial zones to keep up with demand. Washington State Department of Children, Youth, and Families told KREM 2 that between child care providers and learning centers, there are about 159 locations in the city of Spokane. But Only says the more the better and calls this proposal a no-brainer.
Finding the right child care center for yourself is also something, because you don't just want anyone raising your child. They're helping foster this growth of your child.
Mayor Brown's office told me the goal is to get the proposal passed through City Council quickly so they can open more in-demand child care centers across neighborhoods in Spokane. Reporting here in Liberty Park of Spokane, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
There's a change coming to where people can enjoy their favorite craft beer.
When it was first announced, it felt like it was well off in the distance, and here we are on the doorstep.
Ryan Teal with Ghostfish Brewing in Seattle's Soto neighborhood is excited about the new Sip and Stroll bill, HB 1515. The new law makes it easier for businesses like breweries to expand their outdoor spaces into public areas, just in time for the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
I think it's good for small business in general. We're certainly in favor of anything that allows us to create additional controlled spaces to bring people together.
The law expires at the end of 2027, but breweries are hoping that could be extended. Another new law increases the fee for a marriage license by $100.
I think the purpose behind it is meant for good. So that $100 fee is supposed to go to help domestic violence victims and sort of fund things that are in place to help them.
And there's a new law aimed to help some 380,000 Washingtonians who have medical debt.
Medical debt will no longer appear on a credit report. So it will not eliminate, the new law will not eliminate medical debt, but it will remove it.
The American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network says this will help patients continue to get care without going further into debt.
What we find is that folks who carry medical debt, cancer-related medical debt, those individuals are 3 times more likely to be behind on their recommended cancer screenings.
There are dozens and dozens of new laws that started on Sunday. For a full list of these new laws, we can text them directly to your phone. Text us the word laws to 206-448-4545. In Seattle, Madison Wade, King 5 News.
Spokane County Emergency Management says they're already doing everything the new law requires, including providing shelter for companion animals and helping people evacuate their pets. When wildfires raged across Spokane County in 2023, hundreds of people and their pets were sent scrambling for shelter. A scary situation that's nothing new for many across Washington.
Potato was scared.
But the state now requires cities and counties to think ahead, to make evacuating with a companion animal less stressful. Under a new law that took effect this month, local governments must ensure there's shelter for people with pets in natural disasters or extreme weather. Local governments must also publicly post resources for those evacuating with their animals.
The great thing about this bill is it doesn't require cities to erect new facilities when they are strapped for dollars.
There are no penalties for jurisdictions that can't make it happen due to limited resources. But Chandra Fox with Spokane County Emergency Management says our region's already ahead on disaster planning with pets in mind.
For many, many years now, we've had federal mandates through the PETS Act, the PAW Act, to accomplish animal preparedness planning. So we're already on top of it.
She says the county can easily activate the fairgrounds as a shelter for animals of all sizes.
We've had everything at the fairgrounds from poultry to emus to, horses, hogs, goats.
The county also partners with HEART, even helping haul livestock out of evacuation zones. Fox says this new state law will be huge for animal and human safety.
We do know that folks who have companion animals really do not want to evacuate unless they know they can take their pets with them.
The ASPCA says most evacuation non-compliance is because of pet ownership and estimates 80% of people who re-enter an evacuation zone early do so to rescue a pet. Fox says during the 2023 wildfires in Medical Lake and Elk, the county fairgrounds were home to more than 700 animals, including a cat that gave birth after evacuating. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Hello, I'm Cody Proctor. Thank you for joining us here on KREM 2 News. You're watching the Week in Review, where we bring you some of the biggest news stories of the past week.
Washington's legislature calls the state's overdose, withdrawal, and suicide death rates unacceptably high and possibly preventable. So Spokane County is rethinking its approach, says Josh Pierce with the Regional Health District.
I think if you have an opportunity to try something new, it would be silly not to try something new.
Spokane's Regional Health District is now setting up the county's first adult overdose and suicide fatality review board, a group dedicated to investigating the how and why behind these deaths.
There's going to be professionals around the table from EMS and police department and mental health organizations and community members.
SRHD preliminary data shows 315 people died of overdose last year, mostly because of opioids.
We're really just seeing numbers. We're not actually understanding why or how the person got to that point where they're overdosing. This panel is going to go ahead and really dive into that.
Using death reports, medical records, and in some cases, interviewing family members.
Most overdoses are actually occurring at home. So with a fatality review, they're going to identify what are the trends that are allowing people to overdose at home and how are people accessing the opioids.
Pierce says while the board's work will be mostly confidential, overdose prevention teams will use what they learn in raising community awareness and finding solutions.
But we'll also find gaps that maybe there's a different avenue for us to start to go down so that we can continue to prevent deaths.
The board is expected to start reviewing its first cases early next year. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
This story is so stunning because the founder of Giving Back Spokane, Rick Clark, is such a beloved member of the community who for years has raised money for a variety of causes. Some may call him a local celebrity. The recent allegations made on social media don't name Clark, but they do point to someone in a leadership role. Giving Back Spokane was a local charity that served the area for 10 years. The nonprofit did several different service initiatives, from raising money for local schools to helping the homeless. And Rick Clark, the founder, was at the center of many of these initiatives. Most recently in June, according to the charity's Facebook, they raised about $75,000 for local school supplies. Rick Clark declined to speak with me on the phone, but in a text message, he did tell me he first heard of these allegations on social media and on other news outlets. He added he has not seen or been served with any papers and has not heard from authorities, nor has he been informed of any wrongdoing outside of claims online. He continued to say until he gets a clearer picture of what's going on, he cannot comment further, but he wants to remain transparent. Now, in a public Facebook post, Clark added that the charity has always had a third-party accounting firm to oversee its funding. Looking back to June 2nd, Clark posted a video about why the charity was closing. He explained that he needed to focus on things at home, especially with his nephews now living with him.
It's sad, but on the same hand, I'm excited, you guys. I'm happy. This isn't ending because of something terrible. This is ending because we did 10 years of really important work in the community. We've changed minds. We've changed the way people think about giving back. We've changed the way people think about giving grace to people and helping people. As for where the allegations came from, Sarah Williver first spoke out about the alleged misuse of funds. She served on the board of directors of Giving Back Spokane. In her post on Facebook, she did not name who exactly was involved, but she explained the board of directors is investigating the misuse of funds with authorities and legal counsel. I reached out to Williver to get more details, but have not heard back. Now, KREM 2 News has sent in a public records request to the city of Spokane to find out more, but Spokane police did confirm with me over email there was a crime check report filed alleging embezzlement. Spokane police did not confirm any name or names included in the report. As for now, this is a developing story. I'm reporting in the newsroom at Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
Welcome back to the KREM 2 News, a week in review. I hope you're having a great weekend. Let's get back to one more story you might have missed this past week.
While the plaque at North Central High School commemorating Ryan Sandberg Field may not exactly be comparable to his statue outside of Wrigley Field in Chicago, it's clear that his impact was felt in Chicago all the way back to his hometown of Spokane.
Into left center field and deep. This is a tie ball game.
As a Cubs fan in the 80s and the 90s growing up in the Chicago area, like, he was the Cubs to us, right? Like, he was every kid's hero.
Sandberg graduated from North Central High School and then went straight to pro baseball, eventually landing with the Cubs. He played in Chicago for 15 seasons as a second baseman and won the 1984 MVP award. He was also a 10-time MLB All-Star and was inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in 2005. Many Cubs fans remember the Ryan Sandberg game, where he hit 2 game-tying home runs to help secure a 12-11 Cubs win in 11 innings. Some of his former teammates told me off camera that he was a talented and hardworking player, and with the help of the star-studded North Central baseball team, cemented a baseball legacy in Spokane. Representative Michael Baumgartner said in a statement, in part, quote, "From the ball fields of North Central High School to the ivy-covered walls of Wrigley Field, Sandberg brought class, consistency, and quiet excellence to the game of baseball." Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown also announced today that flags will be lowered to half-staff in Sandberg's memory, saying, quote, "Ryan was a hometown hero whose impact reached far beyond Spokane. He left a lasting mark on baseball and all those who knew him." The city of Spokane sends its deepest sympathies to his family. Flags will remain lowered through a Thursday morning. From Ryan Sandberg Field at North Central High School, Caitlin Galloway, KREM 2 News.
Keep it here for more news and weather updates throughout the weekend. And don't forget, you can watch our latest newscasts anytime on your schedule on KREM 2 Plus. Download and watch right now for free. I'm Cody Proctor. Thank you for watching KREM 2 News Week in Review.